So we are in the game, though. Looks like it is frozen here. Is that the same thing for you, TPP?
Yes, is well no, now it's fine.
All right, looks like things are starting off once again. The Bretonnian army list here, I will go over from. Actually, why don't you go over the Bretonnian army list there, TPP?
Okay, well, it's kind of very slow. Oh no, yeah, it's a houseplant game.
Ah, fair, fair.
Okay, anyway, Bretonia, we have 6 peasant bowmen, 2 Grail knights, and this is a damsel on horseback. We also see Luan and a Pegasus knight and also a paladin on Pegasus. So quite a decent air force for Bretonia. Up front we have the 6 spearmen at arms, backed up by the 6 peasant bowmen. So pretty standard Bretonia build, I should say.
Yep, that six peasant bowman build,
Yeah.
something that we've seen time and time again, of course. Down here for the vampire counts, what do we have? We have that 3 blood knights army that not diplomat, sorry, brought, but that houseplant has brought, very dangerous indeed. So 3 units of blood knights, 2 units of fellbats for a little bit of chaff, 2 units of Karen wraiths back here as well. The main fighting line really not all that deep. He's got 2 units of skeleton warriors, 2 units of skeleton spearmen, and only a single unit of clipped horrors. So he's kind of relying on his punch to be in the form of these Blood Knights, as well as the 3 Karen Rays that he has accompanying him. And we can't forget, by the way, guys, very dangerous against Bretonia, but he has, in fact, chosen Manfred on a Hellsteed. Of course, Manfred on a Hellsteed with Danse Macabre can, of course, outrun anything the Bretonian brings to battle, but remains to be seen whether or not Houseplant will choose to use his mana in that way.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has to keep away from Lewin with Manfred. And like you said, the speed is going to be very important in managing that. Hellsteed just such a fast mount for
Certainly, certainly.
barrels. Yeah, but the Felbats can keep the enemy air units occupied for a bit. So that could be important. And yeah, the massive lag that's
Yeah,
happening.
that classic
Uh,
houseplant lag, guys.
yes.
I have to apologize. I have forgotten that houseplant games do in fact lag as they do, and so I'll try to avoid houseplant games in the future. Nothing against houseplant, of course, a great player and some very good tactics coming out of him, but typically we do lag in his
Yeah.
games very much like this.
And then you get into the final. How do you avoid that?
Yeah, well, unfortunately,
Yes.
we will not be able to avoid it there, but maybe it'll be a double American final, in which case then I think nobody will lag. But again, remains to be seen here. Remains to be seen.
Oh yeah, it's slowed down to a crawl here.
I'm actually, what I'm probably going to have to do, guys, is we'll go through this game until another game shows up. And then if the lag continues on, probably exit this game and join into another as soon as it starts.
Okay, so Achilles is actually telling me that I should I should have faith in Panda because there is a plan. He has a plan versus vampire count. So I wonder what that is. I want to see it, but yeah, it's so slow.
Yeah. So here's what I'll do, guys. It may, I don't think that necessarily is my fault right now, but I mean, how should we work this here? We probably can't play the game with this
No.
slow lag. And
Well,
instead I can join another game as soon as it's
well,
popped up.
let's ask them to like unpause it, and if it's still the same, we just quit, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We just try
Yeah.
one more time.
Yeah. So yeah, unfortunately this lag. Oh, hey, look, hey, we're back at it.
Yeah.
Well, things seem to be progressing okay right now. This is actually not too bad.
Yeah, it could be bad. It could be worse, much
It's
worse.
certain. Yeah, certainly could be. Yeah, this is not bad at all. We can certainly stick with this amount of lag. Not bad at all. Pegasus Knights, by the way, chasing away some of the Fellbats there. Not sure if that's the greatest idea in the world. Manfred, of course, running the hell away from Loen Leonka and the Paladin, able to get away with his extra speed on the Hellsteed. But the main lines are going to meet relatively soon. I mean, how do you think the main lines will fare up against each other here?
Well, if vampire counts get in really quickly before the peasant bowmen can do enough damage, then they will do very well. But if they get shot here, and looks like the crypt horrors are engaged, they cannot get into the fight, and they're getting shot. They're getting hit by Luan and
They
by the
they
paladin.
They definitely are, and again, this kind of lack of a central main line for the vampire counts really kind of hurting the vampire counts here, as he doesn't have any units that he can bring into this fight that'll effectively fight Loen and this paladin. All he has are these blood knights, and so he's going to have to bring them over as soon as possible.
Wow, look at the script horrors going down so fast to Luan. That was
So quickly.
really amazing.
Luan plus that concentrated archer fire just doing a huge amount of damage on that Cryptor. So that weak main line that Diplomat initially had is going to be even weaker, as he doesn't have those hard-hitting Cryptors anymore to help him with that damage.
No, and vampire counts are not engaging. They're sitting there, just getting shot at.
They certainly...
Everything. There's nothing moving forward. Right
yeah,
now.
they're just waiting around, it seems. Yeah, I am nervous about the vampire count's chances if they continue in this manner.
I mean, they're just getting shot. Look, another skeleton spearman almost down to like half health. It's gonna be gone soon, and they're kiting back. I don't know why. Like, what is the plan here? Because the peasant bowmen are just gonna shoot you to pieces.
Yeah, very curious. And you know, we're not also not seeing aggressive movement from Manfred to try to get Winds of Death off either, and is instead just kind of being satisfied and just hanging out in the back here, not being particularly useful. Of course, meantime, the rest of the vampire army getting absolutely shredded by the likes of these peasant archers here. I mean, yeah, Invocation of Nehek going off, but that was just a little bit of a waste. I mean, yeah, the Cryptors get their health back, but I mean, at what cost?
Yeah, he's losing a lot of Winds of Magic, and yeah, let's say, okay, he gets all his units back to full HP, but he doesn't have infinite uses of Nehek because his mana pool is limited. So the more he casts Nehek, the less he'll have for later, or like Spirit Leeches or whatever he wants.
I mean, and notice too that, I mean, he's continuing to stay still out here, continuing not to actually engage his troops. I mean, what do you think is the reasoning here right now, TPP?
I don't know. It doesn't feel like houseplant. It feels like something is wrong.
I think so too. I mean, I think maybe Houseplant is overly concerned with Manfred and trying to save Manfred from the likes of these Pegasus Knights and Luan. Is that why he is distracted right now?
Looks like it, yeah, because he had to run away, and the paladin, he is killing the paladin, which I guess is a victory for him, but he's lost so much. He's had to cast so many Neheks already, and his Cryptors, they're like half HP. Yes, they'll regenerate, but it's not like they regenerate instantly. So a couple more volleys from those peasant bowmen, and maybe another Luan charge, and the Cryptors are down. And again, look at these skeleton spearmen, skeleton warriors. They're both below half HP. Finally, we see vampire counts charging into the spears. Interestingly enough,
not even charging, actually, just running next to them. Oh God, no. Not actually getting a charge off with these Blood Knights, and instead getting caught on the lines of the spears. Also, by the way, actually forcing the spears to get out of position right now. Probably a little bit too aggressive from the Bretonnian player, and a Panda warrior should not be very aggressive with these spears, as the Karen Rays will catch them out right now. The Grail Knight's going to be able to come into combat, probably do some significant damage to the Karen Rays, but the battle has started. The lines have finally met. The Blood Knights are in combat. You see some sneaking around here, probably will be able to get into the archers if there is not a spear unit over there in good time to catch them out.
Oh, that was a really nice charge by the Grail Knights. Straight into those Kane Rays. They are going down so rapidly over here.
Incredibly rapidly. I mean, Undeath Resurgent goes off, but so does Harmonic Convergence. Harmonic Convergence on the Grail Knights makes them nearly invulnerable. Huge melee attack and really very good melee defense.
Luan is catching, or he almost caught Manfred, but he kind of stopped for whatever reason. I don't know why Luan stopped, but now he's still going after him. He is faster right now. But now he shouldn't be anymore because his ability ran off. Oh no, he actually caught him.
He gets caught. Yeah, there he gets. Manfred does get caught there, but Luen stops, does one attack, and Manfred just continues to run away. So he's still got a lot of Blood Knight power left here, the Vampire player does, but the Cryptors are dead. The Spearmen, of course, not particularly well used here, not doing what they're supposed to do. The Skeleton Warriors are actually going to get beat down by Peasant Spearmen, and many of the archers still alive. Some Spearmen actually also going in here to help out against these Blood Knights.
Ooh, yeah, those Blood Knights are gonna get rid of so many peasant bowmen though, so that's really bad for Bretonnia. Right?
Yep.
He needs to keep those alive, but all his Grail Knights are engaged with Blood Knights.
Yeah, he's got this
unit.
But they will charge into the Karen Rays, which I think is a better idea right now than charging the Blood Knights. Instead, wrap the Blood Knights up with your spears as best as you can right now, and then in the meantime, try to protect your archers. Once everything gets settled down a little bit, once these Karen Rays are dead, he can probably set up another box to protect his archers. But in the meantime, I think these Karen Rays are a definite priority to take care of.
And it's Rip Manfred soon. Oh, he did use an Hex, so he's gonna get his HP back. He was like below half HP, and now he's already up to above half, but looks like it's going quite well for Bretonnia, I think. He's killed a lot of the Blood Knights.
Yeah, it certainly is. And also, all of the infantry troops now for the Vampire are more or less dead. He's got one fresh unit of Skeleton Spearmen here that will probably do a little bit of something, not a huge amount of damage, I expect. These 2 units of Warriors are very close to crumbling. The Cairn Rays have crumbled here, and the Blood Knights here have decided to extract themselves from that combat with the Spearmen, and instead hoping to use their mobility to kind of gain an advantage against the Bretonnians, who right now are looking like they have the favor.
But that single unit of Skeleton Spearmen here chasing 3 bowmen away, not letting them fire, that's going to be an MVP unit of this game, I think. Such a cheap unit doing so much work, and allowing the Blood Knight to charge the Peasant Bowman as well.
Yeah, not only, and also due to that as well, breaking the peasant lines here that were fighting this very small units of Skeleton Warriors. We still got a couple Spearmen left, by the way, over here for Panda Warrior, and he will certainly use them to the best effect that a player can. But just a little bit of miss micro as they were kind of left out. The Damsel also coming back into battle, but we see that the most effective units of the Vampire counts right now being chewed apart by the likes of the Grail Knights, Spearmen, and Loan Leonque.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting. The Vampire counts won on their left flank, and Bretonia won on the left, but I think Bretonia won hard. Like, they won
Yep.
far more cost efficiently on their flank than the Vampire counts did.
Well, and I wouldn't even necessarily say that the Vampires won on this flank. I mean, yes, you know, in the end, they got the better of the battle there, but I think that battle really lost them the war, because here they lost a unit of Cryptors, they lost 2 units of Spearmen, and all that while these archers that were kind of hanging out back here got to fire in on all of the combats that were occurring around. And so I think really there may be a tactical victory for the Vampire counts, but a strategic one for the Bretonnians.
Oh yeah, definitely. And we have Lewin still alive on full HP, so I mean, at this point he might even be able to carry the game on his own.
Yeah, I think so. I think he definitely could carry the game. If there was nothing else left on the field for the Vampire counts, I think Loen could certainly still take it. Certainly still take it. Yeah, eyes are bleeding, guys. These infantry lines are definitely messy, definitely messy. The game is wrapping up here, though. Luen chasing down Manfred, probably going to be able to get him here, just about to catch up with him, but the charge really isn't hooking on to onto Manfred right now. That'll happen in good time. So, I mean, these Blood Knights, man, I mean, do you think they're a significant enough force to actually force the rest of these Bretonnians to run away and just leave it as a Luen one-on-one?
No, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, Blood Knights are amazing, but against all those Spearmen, well, they're going to get a really nice charge here into the rear of this Spearman unit. They're going to rout them off the field, at least.
Yeah, definitely a great charge there. Not bad at all. By the way, we have to note, too, guys, that the Bretonnians have a huge amount of Winds of Magic left. They still have Curse of the Midnight Wind, of course, at their disposal. And with that, a single unit of Spearmen can actually do very good damage against these Blood Knights. But it looks like the Blood Knights will get caught up, sandwiched by all of these Spearmen in here. I mean, what can Manfred do, man? What can Manfred do at this point?
He can just hack himself and prolong his suffering, I suppose.
Looks like that's exactly what happened here. In response, though, we see the Damsel actually overcasting Harmonic Convergence on the Pegasus Knights, going to allow them to do a huge amount of damage also while taking next to no damage from these Blood Knights. And there it is. There's the rest of the Vampire Count's army crumbled. Manfred, the only thing left, and of course him not long for this world.
Yeah, I mean, this was a strange battle. I mean, I think you could clearly say that in the beginning there was definitely something wrong with Houseplant's play.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff was going wrong in the beginning. But then he almost turned it around. Well,
very close.
Yeah, it was quite close in the end, because he managed to get some nice charges off into those peasant bowmen. He got through with some Blood Knights, and but yeah, it wasn't enough. Luen was still alive at the end, full HP
he was.
basically. So
yeah, certainly. I mean, you know, and not, you know, the peasant lines took a little bit of damage, not a huge amount. I think what really, you know, so again, I'm going to say it again, and I think this is my criticism against Houseplant's list initially. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think part of that kind of stop-and-go play that we saw at the beginning of that match resulted in Houseplant's eventual loss, especially the free kill of those Cryptors there. But I think, once again, it goes back to the fact that this line of Wolf Houseplant really can't fight anything. I mean, it can't, even against Bretonnians, it can't break them fast enough without serious help from these Blood Knights. And the Blood Knights have other jobs. Blood Knights are out there trying to kill other people's cavalry. And so, you know, and also them being your central fighting units, I mean, they have to charge into Spearmen. Yeah, they'll do okay, but they won't do great.
I think for a more balanced approach for Vampire counts, you should probably have brought 2 Blood Knights instead of 3, probably.
Yeah,
because they're so expensive.
Yeah, truly. They are incredibly expensive. And if you, sure, he got 160, 170 kills with some of those guys. But yeah, I think that 1,700 could be much better spent on, say, 2 more units of Crypt Horrors instead.
Yeah, he needs to beef up his main line. He's not gonna win with that.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly. Definitely needs to beef up that main line. But hey, this is the list, and let's see if he can kind of make that weaker main line work for him.
I mean, this is an army for houseplant that can definitely work, but he has to play like his absolute best to make it work. Like, but
Yep,
and that wasn't it. That game
yep.
wasn't it.
That game was not it. That certainly wasn't it.